y'all. Lucky you. You get a double dose today. I had two different topics that I wanted to copy or talk about, and I got the time to do it, so I'm going to. And this might ruffle some more feathers, but that's normal. Trump. Right now, there's a lot going on in America, all over the world, and of course, Trump's in the middle of it, as usual. And sad thing is a lot of people, and I mean a lot, are 100% behind him on this. And I don't think they really truly understand exactly what they're supporting. We're on the verge of the Insurrection Act being enacted. If that's the case, folks, you can kiss any and every ounce of freedom you have out the door. Gone. I'm talking habeas corpus, Constitution, everything gone. You want martial law, you're going to get it. In fact, you're going to get martial law regardless, because that's just bound to happen. And, you know, we all knew it would come sooner or later, and it's going to come much sooner than we expect. They're really pushing hard with this whole man-made invasion, insurrection, the immigration crisis. It was all done on purpose, folks. We all know this. And it was done to get to this point. You need to realize, if this gets enacted, and before I get on with that, every emergency power that a president or Congress, for that matter, has enacted for themselves, they still have. Not a single emergency has ever been rescinded, revoked, or ended. Not one. From the first one that started all the way to the last, from COVID. Every emergency measure they enacted, they're still active. And the president has all those full authorities. So they don't end these crises. They just kind of quietly go away, but the powers are still there. And you can look this up for yourself, but every single one are still active and open, and the president has full authority to enforce those things. Now, right now, you got National Guard and, in some cases, active duty military troops being sent to different states. If you're okay with this, you need to really get your head examined, because folks, when they start putting military in the streets, they're doing this for a couple reasons. One, to get you used to military being in the streets. Checkpoints, searches. Where's your papers, folks? Where's your papers? For those who know anything about World War II, Germany and stuff, if you thought that was bad, it is going to be 100 times worse. Hundreds of times worse. And things that we see as spoiled Americans in third world countries, we're going to be seeing in our own backyards, and our front yards, and our side yards. It's going to be all over, folks, and it's coming extremely soon. So if you're cheering on the power of the president enacting any kind of emergency powers that aren't being checked, remember, Congress is supposed to check the president. You know, we got this balance of powers, but that's not happening. You got Congress fully backing him up. They're like cowering to him, and I don't know why. That's not their job. Their job is to check him, and they have that full power to do so. And no, any president that just thinks they can executive order their way through anything, well, that's a tyrant, folks. That's a tyrant. Because soon there won't be an executive orders. It'll just be orders. And for those people on the ground, the law enforcement who are out there enforcing these things, you're paid thugs. That's all you are. You're federal enforcers. Because if you're wearing body armor, a face mask, you got a weapon, and no name tape, so you can't be identified, you're an enforcer. You're not law enforcement. You're an enforcer. You're a thug. And I'm sorry, but whatever comes your way, comes your way. And I'm not calling for anything. I'm just calling for people to get smart and to understand what's about to take place. You are about to see America like America's never been. And if this power is enacted, and they want it badly, and you got people out there who are cheering for it, who are saying, yeah, let's do it. Give him the power. He'll clean this place up. No. Oh, yeah. Sure, when they go after people that you don't like. But what happens when they come after you because you said something they don't like? Will it be an issue then? Is that when it starts to become a problem? Because that's exactly what will happen. They start with the extremists, folks. They always do. They always say it's to get this or to get that. It's to do this or do that. we're going to clean this up. We're going to get rid of these people because they're bad. Well, when that stuff's all done, and whatever measures they use and you're cheering for, well, when that gets turned on you because you did or said something that they don't like because they decided to do something, and you're like, wait, no, I don't agree with that. But they're like, well, we don't care. You're going to do it one way or the other. And you're like, no, I'm not. And then they send enforcers to your place or your community. And then what? It's a whole different world then, folks. In this whole ICE incident, what's going on, you've had people who have been arrested and detained who were legal citizens of America. And it was done in front of multiple people. I mean, one lady in Chicago was arrested, pulled out of her minivan. She was arrested right in front of children. And they did this on purpose because they're trying to instill fear. She was arrested, thrown in jail. Guess what? They let her go because she did nothing wrong. And she was a legal citizen. No apology, no nothing. Folks, our rights, what we have of them, which are not as near as many as people believe, because you really don't have any rights. When you got to ask permission to do anything, that's not a right, folks. That's not a right. If you're asking permission, you don't have the right, because you're asking permission. That's common sense, folks. But the ones that you think you do have, you're not even going to have those. It's going to be one of those situations like in the Middle East when things go on there, and people are around when you got people out there doing things they shouldn't, and people see it, but they don't ever say anything. You know why? Because if they say something and someone finds out, then it falls back on them. And they've seen that happen enough that they don't want that at their house. So they learn to ignore things, even if it happens right next to them. And that's already happened here in America. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And before you know it, you'll have neighbors turning in neighbors, family turning in family, friends turning in friends. Oh, wait. I believe there's some Bible verses that talk about that. In fact, I know there are. If you don't realize the biblical times that we're in and what's being played out right now, and no, folks, I'm not talking about some coming tribulation. I'm talking, we've been in tribulation since the cross. I'm talking about nearing the very end. That mark of the beast, which, by the way, is nothing physical. It's not a chip. It's not a tattoo. It's not something like that. That's about to be pushed upon us. And when it is, when that's enforced, look up, because his return is near. And I hope you're ready. In fact, I pray you're ready. Just letting y'all know, people, what's coming our way, you are not going to, if you're cheering for it now, you won't be cheering for it at the end. I can promise you that. Especially if you have the slightest ounce of believing in your freedoms or in freedoms, you're not going to like it, because it will backfire against you. Get educated, folks. Watch and pay attention to what's going on, because things are going to start happening very, very fast. Be prepared. Get your relationship with Jesus, and know that he'll be here soon. So for those of us waiting on him, that's a glorious day. For those that don't know him, it'll be the worst day of your life, more than likely. Love y'all. God bless.